Welcome to the Psychic Pinup Podcast, the anything and everything spiritual podcast where we dive into hot topics, readings, viewer questions, and more. Thank you for tuning in. Now, sit back, relax, and let's dive right into it.
Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Anything and Everything Spiritual Podcast. My name is Linda. I am also known as the Psychic Pinup. Today's episode is a personal one for me. It's not a dramatic episode, not polished, but it is a real episode, and it's called What Spirit Taught Me When Nothing Was Working. Not when things were flowing, not when signs were obvious, not when manifestation felt easy, but when I was doing all the right things, or what I thought were the right things, and nothing seemed to move. I went through this period of where I felt that I had no breakthroughs, where I had no clarity, and no external confirmation. So yes, there was a period there where I was thinking, is this what I meant to be doing? As, let's face it, I felt like I was coming up against brick walls. And I was met with just silence. There seemed to also have been resistance there energetically. And just that uncomfortable feeling of asking yourself, what am I missing? And as I said, I was questioning, am I meant to be doing this? Am I missing something? If you've ever been in a season where your effort did not equal the results you were expecting or hoping for, whether it be spiritually, emotionally, or practically, this episode's for you. The myth of constant alignment. How many times do we always say it's not in alignment, it needs to be in alignment? You know, one of the first lessons Spirit taught me during that time was this: alignment does not always look like momentum. You know that saying, if it's meant to go, it will flow. It's meant to be easy, it needs to be in alignment, it should be easy, it should flow. Okay, we've all been taught that when we're aligned, doors should open quickly, things should feel easy, or they do feel easy, and the path is obvious. But do you know what? The more I do this work, the more I'm convinced that's just not true. Sometimes alignment will look like pauses you did not ask for. So that's the closed door, that's the brick wall, that's the obstacle. That's a pause. You did not ask for it. but the universe is obviously giving it to you for a reason. Sometimes the alignment will come across as discomfort that just won't resolve. Okay, you are not feeling comfortable. It won't go away. Why? Is this the universe protecting you? When you think about it, you really are in alignment. Sometimes alignment can also look like being held in place when you're ready to move. So that feeling of being stuck, can't get forward. You know, you're ready, you feel you're ready to go. I'm ready, I'm ready to jump out of that racing barrier. But you're still being stuck there. Why? Okay, nothing was wrong, but nothing was moving. Think about it that way. Not wrong, but just not moving. When all this was happening to me, the Spirit kept showing me that stillness, it's not a punishment. It's preparation. If you are finding yourself in this position right now, please do not beat yourself up. It's Spirit and it's universe just putting you on pause in preparation for the next stage. I think I have done a reel on Instagram and TikTok about this, that sometimes things tend to go quiet, particularly your intuition will go quiet just before another major upgrade. So let's talk about when spiritual tools stop working for you. This is probably the most confronting part. The practices that once grounded me felt flat. For me, meditation felt restless. I don't do much meditation. I do it very, very briefly for approximately 5 minutes before I start work for the day. But it's more so for me to just signal to my team and loved ones in spirit for who I will be reading for that day, to let them know that I am ready to work. It's more me tuning in and connecting with the other side. Also, asking spirit questions seemed to stop bringing me clear answers. So I felt like I had lost my powers. I felt like I was disconnected. But I wasn't. I just wasn't seeing it at the time. So I was in alignment the whole time. They were just preparing me for the next stage, the upgrade. Okay, that's when I realised that everything I was doing was important and I needed to take note of it. I needed to change my ways. It was like I had graduated from that grade and I was going into a new grade, but I was still trying to use spiritual tools to control the outcome. However, Spirit was gently reminding me, I love it how they work. Tools are not levers, they are anchors. Think about it that way. Levers seem to propel us, move us, don't they? So they were trying to teach me that the tools were not moving me. Spirit was teaching me that the tools were actually anchors. Now we all know that anchors are a weight, a dead weight, and it stops things from moving. They did not want me to be using tools anymore. Now, many of you know that, yes, I do have tarot cards. Those who have readings with me, have you ever seen me read them in the last couple of years? No, they are there if we need them. I just got the heads up from Spirit a couple of years ago that I was to stop using tools. Everything I was getting was being channeled straight through me. They did not want me to use the tools anymore. They were actually anchoring me, holding me back, weighing me down. When you find nothing seems to be working, it's not because you need more practices. At the end of the day, I think what Spirit is wanting me to put out there for the listeners is to listen to Spirit more. Do not get so fixated on the tools of the trade. Listen to that internal compass. Listen to your intuition. They will work with you. Which leads me into the next topic that's tied in with this episode today, and that is about the lesson of surrender. This is a biggie, particularly if you are doing mediumship. Surrender is often misunderstood. Now, surrender is not about giving up. It's about releasing the illusion that you're meant to force clarity. What Spirit has taught me is that surrender sounds like I don't know what the next step is. I'm tired of trying to make this work. I trust there's intelligence there, even if I can't see it. So that kind of surrender is not passive, it's actually brave. It's actually an acknowledgement. It's also actually you stepping into your power. It's actually brave when you think about it, as you are surrendering your ego, leaving it there and trusting in what Spirit is giving you. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it doesn't. I'm happy to clarify that a bit more if we need to. Let's talk about when nothing works. You're being repositioned. And here's something Spirit has made very clear to me. I would like to pass this on to you also. When nothing is working, you are not being blocked. You are being repositioned. Look at it this way, nothing's working for you, okay? So you need to now acknowledge the old ways have stopped working because they've taken you as far as they can. The pause you are experiencing, it is not a punishment. Let's look at this as a recalibration. Me, I wasn't meant to push harder. I was meant to change how I listened to Spirit. If you keep pushing yourself and trying to better and get somewhere, nothing's happening, please understand that Spirit is aligning you to being repositioned or recalibrated, and to encourage you to start looking at new ways of doing things, as the old ways are now done, dusted. Let's change it up. The invitation to trust without evidence. Now, we get this a lot when we do mediumship, particularly with my students. Trust without evidence. Yeah, you know what? I guess that this was one of the hardest lessons for me. Trusting with no evidence. How do you do that? Trusting without signs. Without reassurance. Without timelines. And this is how they taught me. I have sat under a number of mentors and teachers, and yes, I did enjoy and I did get a lot out of their teachings and the way things were done. But really, do you know what? Probably about 2 years ago, I sat down and had this big epiphany. And I'm like, yes, they are there as mentors, but do you know what? It's Spirit teaching me the whole time. They are teaching me. And what they taught me was to strip everything back. Spirit stripped everything back to the one question. And that question was, can you trust me without proof? Not because Spirit needed my trust, but because I needed to reclaim mine. I needed to reclaim my own trust. I needed to learn to trust Spirit. This is when trust became internal, quiet, unseen. And do you know what? When you get to that point, that kind of trust changes you. It really does. The way you perceive, the way you interact with people, who you give your energy to, who you remove your energy from. Just sit with that for me. You know, and a lot of people ask me, what shifted when I stopped forcing, when I stopped forcing these readings, forcing these connections. Ironically, things didn't shift when I figured it out either. Didn't all of a sudden, light switch is on, flicked a switch. I'm doing things differently so I can see clearly now. No, ironically, that did not happen. It shifted when I stopped trying to release the urgency, when I just let go. Yeah, when I allowed myself to rest inside the unknown. You know, I don't know everything. I openly admit that. If I don't know something, I'll say I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't try to make things fit. I just let go. And I just allow what I get. I can't get any more. And do you know what? That's when the clarity returned. I kid you not. The clarity returned. It wasn't loud, but my God, it was steady. Steady, steady, steady. It's come to me as, not as answers, but more as a knowing. And I love that. So, my beautiful souls, if you find that you're in a season where nothing feels like it's working, let this be your reminder. You are not disconnected. You are not being ignored. And you are not failing. Sometimes Spirit teaches us most when there's nothing left to lean on. And it's not to break us. It is to return us to ourselves. Remember, we are spirit having a human experience. Thank you for being here. If this episode resonated, please consider sharing it to someone who might be sitting in the in-between. I'll be back soon with more real conversations about spirituality, trust, and the seasons we don't talk about enough. Until then, be gentle with yourself and trust what's unfolding. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Take care.
You have been listening to Linda, the Psychic Pinup. Linda is a psychic medium based on the New South Wales south coast of Australia. You can connect with her via her website, thepsychicpinup.com.au, or join her on her weekly live feeds on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, all under the same name, The Psychic Pinup. Thanks for listening.